All right. Double check that microphone's working. I see levels. All right. Good morning and Merry Christmas. We're going to do kind of a short show this morning, but tomorrow's Christmas Eve. Everything's on the mellow side. Just kind of being cool and calm. About to be opening presents with the kids over the next couple days. All that fun stuff. And it was actually Mario that suggested this show this morning. So here's what I'm talking about. We're going to talk a little bit about the difference between Merry Christmas and Happy Holidays. And this is one where we haven't heard so much about it in controversy in quite a while. And I want to do a bit of a post-mortem on that fact. Some of you guys that are younger don't even remember this being a thing, maybe. But, several years ago, this was very much a point of contention. And people would get butthurt and, they yelled at each other. So we're going to take a look at this article. This is from CatholicStand.com from 2014. And yes, it's an older article, and that's part of the point. We're going to look at this article from 2014, and then we're going to look at another article on the same topic from 2020 and kind of talk about the way that the narrative has shifted on this. So this one from 2014 says, is saying Merry Christmas an act of defiance to the secular left? Well, I don't even have to read the article to answer that question. Yes, absolutely. Absolutely is. That's why they do it. So the whole point to Happy Holidays, that statement, Happy Holidays, was to make people feel guilty about being Christians, right? That was the point. Still is. If somebody, you don't see it as much now. And I'll be fair. I'm not necessarily talking about businesses putting up the Happy Holiday sign instead of a Merry Christmas sign. That's part of it, but that's a much more passive iteration of the phenomenon. But I'm sure many of you who are closer to my age or older clearly remember around this time of year saying Merry Christmas to people just out in public, strangers. It's, the 2, 3, 4 weeks leading up to Christmas, you say Merry Christmas, and people would correct you, and they'd be venomous about it. You mean Happy Holidays? No, I absolutely did not say a thing that I didn't mean. I mean, I can be in error on occasion, but please believe when I choose to use words, I choose them intentionally. Okay. I come at this from a profession where using the correct word is a big deal. So the Catholic Stand asked the question: is saying Merry Christmas an act of defiance to the secular left? I think that, speaking of choosing words correctly, I think they should have said for the secular left, but let's get in there. Innocently wish someone a Merry Christmas, and you might get any one of several angry retorts, such as, I'm not a Christian, and that offends me. Or an old-fashioned Charles Dickens, bah humbug, or you may get no comment but just a grumpy smirk. Your good seasonal wishes did not resonate with that person. So let's talk about that for a second. I don't care what you believe. In the context of a conversation between a few people, I don't care. I truly do not care what you believe. If you are not a Christian or a Jew or a whatever, and someone tells you, I'm going to pray for you, right? And okay, look, let's be. I live in the South. Sometimes that's the, oh, bless your little heart, and it is derogatory intentionally, and it's obviously so. But I've seen it many, many times where somebody says, I'm going to pray for you, or oh, bless you, and they're met with a venomous, oh, I don't believe in that. shut the hell up. Just shut the hell up. I'm going to give you an anecdote that takes this away from the question of philosophy and religion and make the point very clearly before I actually state it, right? My buddy John has a diner that he frequents near his home. And John is a tall, skinny guy who absolutely hates the idea of adding extra sugar to food. So he'll order a cheeseburger and fries. And he was complaining to me a few weeks ago that every time he does it, he says no ketchup. And the guy brings over a bottle of ketchup and sets it on the table. And he was getting irrationally annoyed about the fact that the guy always brings him the bottle of ketchup. And I told him, okay, listen, brother, listen, it ain't hard. You shouldn't be bothered by it at all. In fact, you should appreciate it. It really is that simple. Because what you think, you don't honestly believe that this guy is trying to attack you, right? He's not trying to murder you with diabetes. You don't believe that he's trying to do that. You may have even told him that you would disprefer ketchup generally on many separate occasions. But when he sets that bottle of ketchup on your table, you don't have to use it. You do not have to use it. But I promise you, right? And in fairness, I would have to go and see the look on the guy's face to see if I'm wrong. But I strongly doubt that I'm wrong on this one. I promise you that this guy means that absolutely as a courtesy. A polite gesture, right? He's trying to be helpful. So you don't have to use the ketchup, but you also don't have to it's not worth getting mad about. It's not a personal attack, right? And that's something that I've been saying about the phrase Merry Christmas for a very long time, and anything similar to that, any phrase that one might utter with good meaning. Right, the intent behind the phrase is, I'm looking out for you. I've got love in my heart, and I'm trying to say something nice. I'm trying to be polite. Anything of that sort. It's not like they're going out of their way to insult you. Now, the Happy Holidays commentary, however, is quite the opposite. Well, I do this when people say Happy Holidays to me, I just say Merry Christmas. I'm not crude about it. I'm not mean about it. I'm not forcible about it. I just say Merry Christmas instead of Happy Holidays. And now, 99 times out of 100, that just kind of slips by, water off a duck's back, right? No big deal. But it used to be. I have been stopped and chided and screamed at by psychotic leftists on more than one occasion because I said Merry Christmas instead of Happy Holidays. I've been corrected. I've been corrected in uniform for saying Merry Christmas instead of Happy Holidays because it's not sufficiently inclusive. And that one right there, that pissed me off bad. And Shatpack says, Merry Christmas and joy to the world. Jesus is the reason for the season. There you go. So I don't often talk about my faith on the show directly. And we'll be fair. I say Merry Christmas because it's Christmas time. With all that entails. Family gatherings, gifts, happy kids. You'll shoot your eye out. Fat man in a red suit. I love me some Christmas time, right? I'm not a particular fan of gift giving, but I'll talk about that a little bit more at the end of the show. At the end of this show, but let me get back to this. So for many years, it was the case that, like I've just been describing, you say Merry Christmas, and somebody would just bite your head off. It's Happy Holidays. I'm not a Christian. That offends me. Yeah, okay, shut the fuck up. Shut up. I mean, it ain't hard. because the intent is always positive. Right? You got the gun grabber left. He's like, "Well, what are your thoughts and prayers doing?" Oh, I see. You don't understand. You don't understand that the people who say you'll be in my thoughts and prayers, forget whether or not they're right about this. They legitimately believe that having you in their thoughts and prayers has serious, substantial value, real metaphysical value. And I can make a pretty complex and deep argument that merely believing that guarantees the truth of that. But without going deep down that particular rabbit hole, let me just say this about it. Have you ever, y'all chime in the chat, anybody ever work in marketing or sales, hear the buzzword top of mind? I'm not a big fan of the phrase, but it does refer to an important phenomenon. Whatever you can do to keep yourself top of mind, for your clients, for your customers. You have to talk to them more than once before you make a sale. The more often, there was one study that said if you see 7 advertisements for McDonald's in the same day before lunch, you are like 90% guaranteed to go to McDonald's and order lunch. That top of mind thing. So let me put it like this then. If you are in my thoughts and prayers, if someone says they have you in their thoughts and prayers, that means whatever your plight, right? A family member is sick, or you have a financial issue, you have something, you need something, right? We can't all just stroke somebody a check for $1,000 and fix a problem that they've run into. We can't all just swoop in for a buddy and buy him a set of tires for his car so he can keep going to work. And no matter how much you might want to. But buddy, if you've been told that I'll keep you in my thoughts and prayers, and it's not just, sometimes it's just pablum, but if you've been told that I'll keep you in my thoughts and prayers by somebody who legitimately means that, that means that you have just become top of mind for them. That means that if they stumble across a fortuitous opportunity, at a minimum, you have just had the chance of your benefiting from that fortuitous opportunity dramatically increased. Right? That's secular. That's without having to talk about the religion, the faith, right? We don't have to go to Magic Sky Daddy or anything. I don't have to make the obvious theological and ontological argument for the absolute guaranteed existence of something at the metaphysical level of a deific presence. Just plain and simple, if you are not thought about, then fortuitous opportunities will not be directed toward you. Right? That's the thoughts and prayers thing. It's, I'd love to help, but I've still got to pay my rent at the end of the month. I've still got to feed my kids. I just don't have it. And then I go and I find a scratcher in the parking lot at a gas station for $100. And you know what? I could take the family out for Taco Tuesday on that $100, or I've got tacos at home. I could throw them on the Blackstone. It'll be good. I've already spent that money. But Joe Snuffy over there had a flat tire, and he's in a bad spot. He can't get to work to make the money to fix the tire until he's got the tire fixed. I can go buy Joe a used tire. And if it hadn't been for that conversation, thoughts and prayers, I might not have thought of it. So even as a secular argument, it absolutely resonates that there's value there. There's significant value there, right? I can't tell you how much money I've made because somebody, not me, was having a conversation with other people at a business meeting or a networking event or what have you, and overheard somebody say, oh, my homeowner's insurance company is bullshit. They're raising the price up, or I had to make a claim on my roof, and they came out and said that it wasn't a legitimate claim, and it's just so awful. And somebody said, have you talked to Chris? Go talk to Chris. Tell him what happened. And then, and all of a sudden, hey, I've got a customer. Not because I was top of mind for that customer, but I was top of mind for someone who that customer had contact with. And like I said, I don't like that phrase, but I don't have a better one to cover it. So back to 2014, the secular left. I can understand the secular left being upset at Christmas time because it is the most extended season of the year that reminds them that America is still a religious country. The secular left wants God out of everything. They mainly wish Christ out of Christmas. That is the chance we take when we as Christians say Merry Christmas. We may bump into one of these secular left anti-God warriors. So, and so you kind of get the feeling of the article and kind of what they're saying there. Everything that I was saying about the venomous. Oh, it's happy holidays. It's not Merry Christmas. So let's skip forward to 2020. The war on happy holidays begins as Merry Christmas makes a comeback. Right? Remember 2020. Have I got these backwards? That one says 2014. Have I got these backwards? I do. I got them backwards. Huh. Well, it doesn't really defeat my point though. So I'll just get back to it. The original conversation that Mario and I were having to do this episode, Mario is a, and this is levels of hilarious that most of you cannot appreciate without knowing Mario personally. Mario is a humble water filter salesman. But part of that job means that he talks to people all over the country, all day, every day, dozens and dozens of people all over the country. And he's saying that anecdotally, his experience of late has been just about everybody is saying Merry Christmas. And they're saying it with kind of a defiant harumph now, like, I dare you to try and hit me with some of that happy holidays nonsense. I said Merry Christmas, right? And so I got to wonder, and I got to thinking about it after he made that comment. And we just won an election, the conservative right, which includes ostensibly, one would hope, but it's not the case. One would hope most Christians are voting conservatively because, babies, if for no other reason, babies. And it occurred to me to think about the causal order, the causal relationship, the order condescendi of this occurrence. And I think, while it may look like Donald Trump won in 2024, and that is the reason that it has turned, that the tide appears to be turning, and you just don't have that kind of vitriol anymore. I think it's quite the I think it's quite the other way around. I think for the last several years, the war on Christmas has deteriorated and gotten less attention. In fact, it may be that the secular left just believed that, we've got everybody talking about gender mutilation and abortion and all that. We've won. We've won the fight, right? The left believes that we've won the fight, and Happy Holidays is the thing now, and you're only going to hear people say Merry Christmas in the same way that you hear, all three old racists whisper the N-word under their breath when nobody's looking. But they apparently, turns out, they were wrong. I think what happened is when they took their foot off the gas on attacking religion, and I don't just mean Christians, religion generally. Part of that attack has been the ludicrous claim that being that Islam is a conservative religion, and so that means that radical Islamists are more closely aligned with Republicans than with Democrats, and so as Republicans, we should own the violence from that group of people, which I can do a whole another show on the absolute sociopathy of that particular claim. But generally, I think that they kind of gave up the fight, and that has resulted in more people being more comfortable saying Merry Christmas, and that culminated and kind of snowballed into more people being comfortable saying, you know what? I don't think it's okay to just kill babies because they're inconvenient. I don't think that children should have their genitals mutilated when they're 8, 9 years old. I don't think that 13-year-old girls should be having double mastectomies, for cosmetic reasons. I don't believe those things. I don't think that we should be, dumping billions of dollars into foreign conflicts and foreign aid while we still haven't rebuilt North Carolina, after the storm. And hell, I'll be greedy on that one. I don't think we should be sending any money to Ukraine until my trees are picked up. I mean, Jesus, because that's my money. I'd like to spend a little bit of my money on working on my own shit. Right? Jordan Peterson, clean your room. So, and I think Cameron has it exactly right. If we had surrendered to happy holidays, let me pin you up there, good buddy. If we had surrendered to happy holidays, it would have been no time at all before happy holidays was offensive and non-inclusive. That's another thing that's worth knowing. Like we went from the N-word being verboten to the phrase colored people being verboten to just the past 15, 20 years, we're expected to use the phrase people of color. And let me explain y'all something, guys. The phrase people of color is idiomatically identical to the phrase colored people. Now, I'm not making the claim that you should go around calling non-white people colored people either. I'm not saying yay or nay against or for that. But what I am clearly stating here is that, within the context of that whole PC nonsense, if you say people of color, you are the same person who is saying you're the same as saying colored people. There is not a legitimate, intelligible distinction between those two utterances. If you say people of color, what you mean is colored people, and you might as well use whatever the epithet is. The whole POC thing, you are abusing my language to tell me lies. Right? Now, Happy Holidays versus Merry Christmas is a little different than that. But at the end of the day, I don't care about your inclusivity. Right? If you're not a Christian and I said Merry Christmas, what I just said to you is, hey, I hope you're happy. I hope you have a good day. I hope somebody loves you. I hope you eat well, are warm at night and safe. I want that for you. How much more vulgar and dismissive could a person be than to dismiss good wishes just to be abrasive, because that's what the whole argument is about. Now, I said I'd talk a little bit about gifts, and I have a hard time with gift giving. And part of it is I have a hard time with getting gifts. And I love you. I love you guys. And some people got me some Christmas presents this year. Thankfully, I managed to talk my wife out of buying me any damn Christmas presents. I think we've generally convinced ourselves that, with a very few exceptions, she did give me a pair of shoe horns, which I needed because I lost mine in the move. But generally, we just shop for ourselves instead of buying Christmas presents for each other. We give ourselves permission to spend a little money on something, that we might not have gotten otherwise. Like, I got a massage helmet, a head massage, scalp massage, heated eye massage helmet for me for Christmas, and that's what I got from my wife. But as far as Christmas presents, between adults, here's the thing. Like, this is mostly set decoration and stuff, but I've got a lot of shit. As an adult living in a home, especially if you've been there for more than a couple of years, I know that you don't know where you're going to put things. Right? You go to that Christmas party and you open up the this one's actually funny. You open up the quesadilla maker, right? We've got a waffle. It's basically a waffle iron, but it's for making quesadillas. And I'll be perfectly fair. We have used the shit out of that. I thought it was kind of a goofy, like gag gift, and then we busted it out and used it one day. It's like, screw it, we've got it. Before I throw it away or give it to Goodwill, let's play with it one time. And learned, oh no, this thing actually does a great job, and it's something the kids can use. So I could just lay out, I could do some ground beef and lay out some cheese and peppers and ground beef and mushrooms or whatever, and I could let one of the kids stand there and stamp out quesadillas like they're stamping license plates, and that's awesome. But I generally feel like, if I'm trying to buy somebody Christmas presents at Christmas time, I worry a little bit that I'm buying you something you don't need, and you're gonna look at it and say, "Oh, this is great, and I appreciate it, Chris. Where the hell am I going to put this thing?" So, so I'm always a little hesitant about buying Christmas presents. Frankly, for that reason, normally, my brother and sister and I got my dad a big Blackstone griddle for Christmas this year to park next to his grill because we think he ought to have one. But normally, where I do give people Christmas presents, I like to buy them liquor, chocolate, something comestible that they don't have to worry about storing after the fact, unless something that just catches my eye. And sometimes it just bees that way. All right. Well, guys, it is cold as balls outside this morning. I am ready to put a pin in this and go warm my toesies by the fire. So thanks for watching this morning. Merry Christmas. We love you, and we will see you tomorrow.